Hi everybody. I'm still here outside in my outside office for the day. I decided to put my sunglasses on. If you saw my video yesterday, you heard the story of what's going on here and why I'm outside here. I'm doing a few videos here while I'm here. And I'm wearing my sunglasses for this one. I'll say hello. Hello! But I'm wearing my sunglasses for this one. My eyes are really sensitive to the sun, and so I don't like feeling like I'm hiding. I'm not hiding from you guys. I'm still here. But like, I was squinting so bad in my last video, and I need to just keep my sunglasses on. And these sunglasses have a story too, by the way. This is my first time ever wearing these, so, and they're ridiculous, and that's why I'm wearing them. If you don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is in the description box below, but I posted in my stories today, so by the time this video posts, you won't see this in my stories. But this morning, I decided to wear these glasses today, and I posted a picture in my stories, and I said, when life gets ridiculous, I like to get ridiculous right back. Right? And then hashtag crazy sunglasses don't care. These are ridiculous, and they're sparkly, and that's why I'm wearing them, because, you know, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do and find humor in the absolute crazy, right? So I'm continuing on with my videos for the week. Instead of at my desk, I'm in this space that is one of my most favorite places in the whole wide world, and I love being here. I needed to be here today. My heart and my soul needed to be here. So again, I apologize if you hear all the water noise around me, but this is where I am today, and this is where I needed to be. So I'm going to work from this space today. I want to continue the conversation today around the mother wound. So if you did not see the video that was posted prior to this one, talking about, I titled it, "The Wound No One Wants to Talk About." This is kind of continuing that conversation, so you may find it helpful if you pause this video, go back, see the other one first, and then come back to this one, because it's kind of taking that video a step deeper. But part of being a divine feminine and this feminine masculine energy, I've really come to learn, and this is after years and years of going down this path of masculine feminine energies and healing and integrating everything. I'm really recognizing how a huge part of the divine feminine's problems are from feminine energy before us. And this ends up affecting men as well, because a lot of these issues that we're all running around with in our relationships and in our lives and with our emotions and with ourselves and with attachment and whatever frame you want to put it in, it comes from the mother. And the mother is the heart of the home. We know this, right? The mother is the heart of the home. The mother is the emotional center, because she is the feminine energy. And feminine energy is emotions, energies, relational things, connection. So if there's emotional wounds with the mother, which there will be, because we all have wounds, this is no shame or judgment or blame. Whatever emotional wounds or self-sabotage or attachment style or whatever emotional problems the mother has, those are going to be played out into her children, because she's not going to be able to be 100% emotionally available to any of her children in the way that they actually need. And again, no one has the capacity to be 100% emotionally fulfilling the needs of another, and it's not our responsibility, right? It's not my responsibility to 100% take care of the emotional needs of someone else. I need to work on my own stuff and recognizing my own emotional needs and taking care of my own emotional needs, right? That sovereignty piece, releasing codependency, all of that. And I talked about that in my previous video as well, codependency. But If no one's perfect and all these feminine energies are carrying around generations and generations of feminine wounding around emotions, it's going to affect the kids, right? Male or female, does not matter. So speaking to divine feminines, and as being a divine feminine myself, I'm really recognizing how a lot of the work that we have to do is feminine energy healing. And it's even more impactful than worrying about the father, the dad stuff. Really, truly. And I became aware of this in my own journey as I was reflecting on my mother. And my mother passed away when I was 3 years old. And so I don't remember my mother. I have no recollections of my mother. And I posted about this particular little bit that I'm about to say. I posted about this on Instagram and Facebook before, about how I spent the majority of my life never really actually acknowledging, like consciously acknowledging the fact that my mother died when I was 3. And I was almost in this denial about it, which was very easy because I don't have any memories of her. So it's very easy, if you don't even remember something, it's very easy to just like, if you've only ever known a reality where something didn't exist, it's very easy to be in denial about all the issues that may have arisen because of the lack of mother, right? And so, long story short, in my journey of finally allowing myself to acknowledge the fact that my mother died at 3, and that clearly is going to affect how I am as an adult now, and is clearly going to have an effect on me emotionally and how I emotionally show up in relationships, or emotional loops and cycles that I may get stuck in that I keep manifesting in relationships over and over, or whatever the situation may be. And in my journey of developing myself to be really emotionally available to myself, and then therefore emotionally available to others, I really had to peel back a lot of layers here. And I really hope I can make this video cohesive, because this is a huge subject and I'm trying to kind of create some groundwork to go deeper into all of this stuff moving forward. I really feel this needs to be spoken about, because this is feminine healing at its absolute root. And again, I talked about that in my previous video about ripping the weeds out at the root. And these weeds are the things that are blocking your heart space from receiving the life that you want, from receiving the emotional fulfillment, 10 of Cups type energy, the total emotional fulfillment that you're looking for. And your heart is just pulling you towards and begging for. It's blocked. The heart is blocked by these weeds of feminine healing from your mother and her mother and her mother and her mother and her mother. I mean, this is massive generational healing work going on for feminines. And until we do this work, we're not going to be able to show up in the relationship, in our relationships, the way we want to, because it starts here, right? In our relationship first. And then therefore we're not going to be able to have the external relationships we want, because it's not happening internally. We know this. I talk about that all the time. So back to my subject matter for today. Sorry, I took a tangent there for a moment. In going through this with myself, I became aware of emotions in a much deeper and more profound way that I didn't realize previously. And what I mean is, when I, years ago, first started this journey of moving from being a woman operating more from her masculine space, from strategizing and planning and analyzing and working really hard and going to the place of total burnout, like total and complete burnout, and going to the place of like rock bottom depression and my body falling apart and screaming at me that it needed to be healed and I needed to pay attention to me and my truth. And when I started, I'm afraid I'm gonna get rained on here. I see some clouds moving in. When I started allowing myself to be in the feminine energy, I had to finally allow myself to feel emotions and feelings and actually pause and learn to label them. And I remember it being a huge moment in my journey when I realized I was feeling things and I was so out of touch with myself that I couldn't even label the feeling or the emotion that I was experiencing. And I had to learn and go through this whole process of learning to label explicitly, like very, very specifically label what I was feeling. Because if you don't even know, then you don't even know where to go from there, right? It's like the GPS in your car. You can't, the GPS isn't gonna work. If you know where you wanna go, but you don't even know where your starting point is, you can't bridge the gap. You can't find the path if you don't know where here is, right? And it's the same with the emotions. The emotions are guideposts, they're signals, they're guides, they're clues to guide us. But if you don't even know where you are, you can't get to where you're trying to go. You want to go, right? So the first step of all of the emotions was learning to label and learning to feel them and become familiar with energetically how different feelings and emotions felt in my body, and then labeling them what exactly they were. And that was really a huge piece of the feminine energy healing that I did. But what I didn't realize is there's another layer to it. And this didn't come until I started looking at my mother wound. And I started really allowing myself to discover how I'm affected by the fact that my mother didn't exist. Now, just because you watching this video, maybe you did grow up with your mother, this still is going to apply to you because I'm talking about emotions. So hang on a second, don't click off here. Even if you grew up with your mother, I just saw 11:44 on the timer, by the way, big significance, 11:44. Even if you had your mother growing up, I know she was not able to be emotionally available or even physically available to the extent that you needed as a child, because no human is able to, right? No human has the capacity, no human is perfectly healed, no human is perfect, therefore no human can ever totally emotionally and physically be there for you to the fullest capacity that you need, especially as a child when your needs are extraordinary because you're completely dependent on your caregivers, right? So even if you had your mother there, she still wasn't able to physically and emotionally be there 1,000% in the way that you needed as a child. So this message still applies to you. I just had a more extreme experience, which allows me to really see this in a really powerful way. So as I went down this path of emotions and I'm looking at my mother wound and how the fact of an absent mother affected me and how that affected my heart space, how that affected how I deal with emotions, how that affected my capacity to maneuver and self-regulate and self-soothe in really powerful emotions. And I'm going down this path, I'm realizing all this emotional stuff that we put ourselves through and all these crazy emotions that we deal with, and all of our attachment styles and issues, and all of our trauma responses, all of our self-sabotaging behaviors, all of this junk that we're healing and dealing with as flawed humans, all comes down to one emotion: grief. And for me, obviously, it was a very obvious grief and loss of mother. But emotionally, for everyone, it's grief of the loss that someone, the person you look to for nurturance and protection and guidance and emotional stability and emotional belonging and emotional regulation and emotional soothing, the person you look to the most, the mother, for the emotional piece, was not available in one way, shape, or form, wasn't available. That is grief, because it is a loss of something you need, a void, a hole, emotionally or physically, that you needed something in that space as a child and it wasn't there. That's grief and loss. And if you grasp what I'm saying, this is going to blow your mind, because now if all of these difficult negative emotions and all of the stuff we do to sabotage ourselves and all of the trauma responses that we're all dealing with here, if it all comes down to grief, this simplifies it, does it not? Because then you can ask yourself the question at any given moment, what am I grieving right now? And allow yourself to grieve it. And allow yourself to recognize I am in grief. And what do I need when I am grieving? Those are the questions. What am I grieving the loss of? Or what am I grieving not having in this moment that I think I need? I think I need, and I will go down that conversation later, obviously. But what is it that a part of me thinks it needs right now that's lacking? And clearly we know nothing is lacking, and again, I'm gonna go there later, but I'm just saying the first step is recognition and awareness to anything. It's awareness and questions and self-reflection. So if grief, the void, the grief of something missing, something lacking, what are you doing from that space of the void, the lacking, the grief? I'm going to continue this conversation in other videos. I want to leave it here, but I challenge you, I invite you to start looking at these difficult emotions, or when you're in a bad space emotionally, to look at it as grief and ask yourself, what am I grieving? What do I think is missing right now? What is the void emotionally or physically that I think is lacking in this moment, that I'm grieving, that it's not here and I wish it was here, or I think it should be here? What am I grieving? I hope this video helped. If you found value in this, please do comment, subscribe, like, show your support for my channel, and help me send my message out there for healing and love to everyone else. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye for now.